Hello, Fabulous Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of August 2018, looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. As we start this month, we have eclipse season continuing in the early part of the month, and it will be the final of 3 eclipses that takes place right around the 11th of the month, give or take a day on either side, depending on where you are on the planet. And it is going to be this eclipse that will close off an extended eclipse season. Now, I'm a big fan of eclipse season, and the reason is because it tends to be that much easier to recognize the spiritual lessons playing out in your life and to get less caught up in the more physical or more mundane aspects of our lives and of our existence. As we see how it is that external events are playing out, ultimately they lead us back to ourselves and to our growth and to connect with our journey towards greater love and greater wisdom. So for you, this final eclipse is going to take place at the very bottom of your sky, a part of the sky that has to do with home and family of origin. Buying, selling, moving, new roommates, all of that becomes possible when there is a solar eclipse. Now, there may very well be a surprise element to this, okay? And that's okay. What it looks like is chances are it's not going to be too much of a surprise. And the reason I say that is because Mercury will be retrograde at the eclipse and will be very close to the eclipse, hanging out in the same part of the sky. And so this suggests that there's an element there of messages, there's an element there of news that's been coming and going and coming back and forth, that's been in the air, at least for the last few weeks, that now gets a new point of clarity. However, Jupiter is going to be speaking with this eclipse as well in a type of conversation that astrologers call a square. And this is a conversation of some tension. And what this suggests is that it is possible that there isn't necessarily a lot of clarity. Mercury is retrograde as well. The important thing to remember with this energy is to trust your life. Trust your life. Trust where it is that you are being asked to make changes, and trust where it is that you are being led, where it is that you are being asked to go. Chances are what is transpiring right around this eclipse will in some way make you aware of your own fears around change, and particularly around change at this time, a time of guessing and then second guessing yourself. At the same time, there may be a lot of over-optimism, a sense that things really could go well, but then not seeing certain details. In fact, if there was an overall signature of this time, it would be overseeing certain details that may actually be important. Now, again, ultimately, you do have to trust your circumstances. If it looks like you gotta move, you gotta move. But there may be some details that need to be ironed out, and you'll see them more fully as you move towards the later part of the month. Now, part of what's going to help you to see these more fully is going to be Mercury going direct and then returning to where he is at this eclipse as we move further into the month. That's going to help you to see more clearly what it is that this eclipse is asking you to change. This eclipse can also bring you in touch with your family, particularly family of origin. Maybe having to go home or take a trip home can come up at this time as well. What I really like about this, though, is that it does help you to reconnect. It helps you to have that conversation again. And maybe it's a conversation that you started, but then let it go, or you know that you should have. It's been going around in your mind or in your soul, something that you really want to understand more fully, some forgiveness that you want to experience. Well, it is going to be this eclipse that's going to help you in that regard tremendously. In fact, where this eclipse is happening is one of reconciling the past and seeing the past differently. And hopefully with this energy, seeing the past with more loving eyes. As we move towards the later part of the month, that is where we are going to have a full moon. Now, towards the end of the month, lots is happening there. We've got this full moon. This full moon is happening in a part of the sky that has to do with friends and groups you belong to. It's a very social part of the sky. This full moon is speaking in harmony with Uranus and your sign, in harmony with Saturn as well. So it's a lot of easy energy transpiring. It's a very different full moon than the one that you would have had last month, late last month, when we had that lunar eclipse. That lunar eclipse had a lot of strong energy and quick energy. This is different. This is stable. This is hopeful. And this is liberating in the best possible sense. And so it could very well be at this time that a friend helps to facilitate some opportunity for you, or at the very least, you'll find a sense of camaraderie and joy that feels like it is helping you to feel that much more stable right around the time of this full moon. This full moon is also going to represent a time when the energy of the Mercury retrograde is starting to wrap up. Mercury will officially leave shadow. The whole Mercury retrograde season will be over at the very beginning of September. So at this point, you're already wrapping up the energy. And what this suggests to me is that your friends are going to be a big part of helping you to understand what this whole eclipse season, July and early August, what was it about for you? How did you grow? How did you change? How is it that you learned what you needed to? Well, your friends are going to help you to integrate that understanding in a way that ultimately helps you to feel lighter and more excited about your future. Now, speaking of Uranus, let me just say this whole month, Uranus is essentially dancing in supreme harmony with Saturn. I mentioned this for you because Uranus, of course, is in your sign. This is a big deal for you. Having Uranus in your sign is really just the beginning of an extended process. I've spoken to you about this before in the Uranus special on YouTube and the Uranus special on my website in the Superstar space as well. This to me is one of those moments where you start to recognize and you start to connect with and you start to feel how it is that having Uranus in your sign can actually be really good, can actually help you to make changes that may be long overdue, but also help you to feel more stable and more grounded. It's this wonderful mix of the future, but it is grounded in knowledge of where it is that you have been. And it is being propelled into a future that ultimately helps you to feel like you are moving up and you are moving towards a future that ultimately will be one that is more grounded and secure. This will be a feeling that is with you all month. That is the overriding feeling thanks to Uranus in your sign. Where it comes to matters of love, pay attention to what's happening around that full moon. It is such an active time. That full moon is happening on the 26th of the month, give or take a day on either side, depending on where you are on the planet. Not only are we having this full moon that is in the sign of Pisces, it is ultimately a dreamy energy and a hopeful energy. On the same day, we will have Mars going direct. And on the same day, we are going to have Venus, your ruling planet Venus, speaking with Pluto. So it looks like there's a whole lot going on right around that full moon. On the one hand, yes, beautiful social energy. On the other hand, a sense of clarity and motivation as to your career. But on the other hand, there is something taking place in terms of you coming to a deeper understanding of love and of where you are right now in the context of love and how you feel about it. For some of you out there, if you are open to meeting someone new, this can bring a time of very powerful attractions. But the thing is, because of the way that Venus is speaking with Pluto, there's an element of inconvenience there. There may be an element of the taboo there as well. Now, ultimately, it's always up to you to decide what's right for you in light of your unique circumstances. But it looks like such a high energy time, such a whirlwind time as you're finishing off the month, that chances are some powerful attraction to another person, whether or not it manifests into something more, is part of what helps you to own your power and part of what helps you to be more open and to be more honest with your friends and the people who care about you. For those of you who are in an established bond, keep in mind right around that full moon as well, the saving grace is that full moon and how easy it is and how great it is for companionship. If you have a partnership that is grounded in companionship, then that's going to be the more dominant energy at this time. But if that's not necessarily the case, or if this is someone that you're just getting to know, or someone where there's been some, on again, off again, or some strong feelings at times, well, this is going to be one of those moments where it'll feel like a lot of emotion is coming up and coming up to the surface. So just make sure that you are taking the best of care of you at this time in particular. And remember, as I look at what was happening last month and the first days of this month, Venus is in a very supremely harmonious position to you. That's where you nurture the love energy. And know that ultimately, if your relationship is grounded in friendship, then what feels like some strong emotions or strong lessons as they come up, you're able to discuss them and resolve them quickly. But if it is that companionship factor isn't there as much as maybe you would like, well, this is where that desire for a sense of evolution within your relationship will show up as well. What I love about this month for you, well, look, there's a lot to love this month, and I just love how as we get to the end of the month, there's just so much happening. There's such a buildup of energy, but through it all, there is hopeful energy, there is inspired energy, and friendship, really. And it helps you to feel that much more connected to others, and it helps you to make sense of all the learning that has been taking place and will be taking place now. And it is going to be your friends that remind you of the best that you can be and help to free you in a way that makes you feel more secure with who you are. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this every week by logging on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week. They get unlimited access to all the special horoscopes. They get early access to monthly horoscopes and so much more. All of this in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.